And welcome back to another show of Kane's Corner. I'm Matt Kane, actually here in the corner in sunny Los Angeles. Beautiful day out today. The sun was shining on my face. That's pretty much my lighting at this point, the sun. It was shining on my face. It looks a little gloomy now, but I would expect the sun pretty much soon. Got to get the glow up, got to get the sun glow for this show because we have a ton of stuff to cover. The NBA playoffs. You didn't see that at the show last week. Mike Boetti, great guy. I had him on. We talked about this Celtics Nets game, which really have been crumbling for the Nets. We'll get into that later. Khris Middleton, Devin Booker out for the series. Deebo Samuel wants out. I mean, talk about a crazy NFL offseason where Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and we're traded. Deebo Samuel's up next. We'll have to see to find out. Let's start the show off with the NBA playoffs. Boy, have they been really fun to watch. I've been watching the NBA playoffs more. You know, I'm in Los Angeles. There's not a lot of stuff to keep me busy. You know, my internship just ended. Bittersweet moment. I was interning with Fox Sports, kind of learning what they're doing with their shows and stuff, and kind of taking it in and putting it in here. But that's ended. So you're going to see a lot of more content. You probably see more content, trying to get a post every day out. But I've been watching the NBA playoffs more often. Being in Pacific time, it's really weird. They're coming on at 4 p.m. I'm like, they're coming on at 4 p.m., ending at 9 p.m. What do I do for the rest of the night? Like, it's so weird. The experience moving from New York all the way to LA for a semester has been so weird, but the weirdest thing about it is sports because of how familiar that is to me. Luckily for the NFL season, I really wasn't here. For the playoffs, I was. And it was just really odd because the playoffs were ending around like 7 p.m. It's wild stuff. You should go to the West Coast. You're in the East Coast, which probably most people are. Go to the West Coast, see how it feels. You might find yourself a little less attached to sports. I try to find as much as I could, and starting with the NBA playoffs. I mean, I've been watching it, and they've been great. I mean, the best series and what I thought was going to be the best series was the Nets Celtics. I still think it's the best series, even though the Celtics are up 2-0. But the first game, I screamed after. I hate the Celtics. I'm gonna come out and say that I hate the Celtics, just because of the 76ers fan I am. Don't really like the Nets either, so it's like I can care less. But that first game was great with the Jason Tatum buzzer beater, Kyrie flipping off the fans. But something that I really disliked about this series is Kevin freaking Durant. All right. I come on here and I say Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. And I thought that for the past few years. Like I genuinely thought Kevin Durant was the best player in the world. Last year, that Bulls Nets series, he elevated the game pretty much a toenail from winning that series. And potentially, honestly, they would have moved on to the Suns. They could have beat them. Or no, they would have moved on to the Hawks. Going to move down to the Hawks, I think they would have beat them. And then they would have moved on to the Suns in the finals. I think they could have beat the Suns, but that's all in the past. Kevin Durant is making me look like an idiot. Now, Kentucky made me look like an idiot. Duke made me look like an idiot when I started believing in them. And when I didn't believe in them, honestly, because I had them out in the second round. Kevin Durant is making me look like an idiot, and I have to rescind that top 10. Listen, Kevin Durant is a great player, but he is just not showing up in this series. And I think that if they lose, game 3 is Saturday. If they drop 3, honestly, if they get swept, it's definitely tainting his legacy. If they come back and maybe lose in game 7, I don't think it really taints his legacy, but they're down 0-2, and KD is literally doing nothing. He's doing nothing. Kyrie is doing more than KD. Okay, game 1, stats, 23 points in 41 minutes. It's for an average guy, Sure, fine, whatever. For Kevin Durant, no. Come on. He was 9 for 24 in field goal, and he had 6 turnovers that whole game. It's Kevin Durant. What are you doing? All right, then game 2. This just makes me mad. 27 points in 42 minutes. Okay, he got more points, 1 more minute. 0 for 10 from field goal in the second half. 0 for 10. None of his 10 shots made it. Four turnovers too. I mean, 6 turnovers first game, 4 turnovers in the second half of game 2. We had 2 turnovers in the first half, 4 turnovers in the second half. And you look at towards the end of the game, he missed a free throw, a key free throw, in my opinion. KD is looking like he's looking like a weakling in that series. Jason Tatum is making him look like a weakling. It's just so mind-boggling because Kevin Durant has always been that guy who when he went to Golden State, I didn't like it. Thought he was a snake. I really stopped caring about Kevin Durant. But I watch him and I'm like, as a basketball fan, I'm like, this guy's great. Like, come on, I can't hate a great player like that unless his name is LeBron James. And he's just making me look like an idiot, which I'll admit, I get things wrong. I think it's funny when I get things wrong. I think it's better for views to get things wrong rather than get things right. You look at Colin Cowherd. He's personally an idol for me. He doesn't get it always right. And usually the people remember when they get it wrong rather than when they get it right. Skip Bayless, again, he gets things wrong, but it's funnier when he gets things wrong. And I think they both know that. So Kevin Durant as the best player in the world, I'm going to rescind that. I'm going to put it in the back shelf, and I'm going to pick up the book of Giannis and move him to first. Obviously, that top 10, I think the top 10 could be switched around a lot. I mean, I thought 1 through 7, I won't put Kawhi up in the 1 through 7. Kawhi was healthy. Say 1 through 8. I think they could all be switched around, and I think you could switch around the middle group. I think Giannis, KD, and Jokic were definitely like a part of the top 3 wherever you want to put them. But I'm pretty flexible with that. But now I'm not putting KD at the top. He is making me look like an idiot. He's made me look like an idiot. And I mean, listen, Kevin Durant has not won without the Golden State Warriors, and I think that's what he needs to do. And I'm not sure if he's going to do it. Kevin, if you want to have the biggest ego around and you want to say, your numbers should be retired with the Thunder and the Nets and the Warriors, then you got to start playing well, because this Nets experiment is a disaster. And it's a disaster because of Kevin Durant, because of Kyrie, even though Kyrie went off game one, but probably most of all because of Steve Nash. And Steve Nash is my favorite player of all time. Awful coach. Awful coach. He's more like a best friend than a coach on that team. And the Nets are going down. And they're going down fast. I'm interested to see game 3. I think if the Nets win game 3, game 4, they'll insert Ben Simmons. If they lose game 3, I see no reason why they would insert Ben Simmons. That would be personally, there would be no point in that. But Kevin Durant, listen, you love responding to haters. Respond to me, man. Respond to me and tell me why I should keep you as the first spot in the top 10, because I have no freaking clue why I still would. Awful, 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 awful. And you could say, hey, these players have these games. LeBron had the same thing against the Mavs in that NBA Finals series. I don't care. I don't care. All right. I think I'm done with my Kevin Durant rant. He probably will make it somewhere else in this show, just in the middle of everything. But we got news, 2 injuries, starting with Milwaukee. Khris Middleton, he's out for the remainder of the Bucks Bulls series. That game is tied 1-1. He got hurt in game 2 as they lost 114-110. I think this injury is huge for the Bulls because the Bulls are hot. They're coming in hot. DeMar DeRozan is coming in hot. He scored 41 points in the Bulls win. He's in some type of conversation with Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but still, DeMar DeRozan is playing really well. And I think if DeMar DeRozan plays really well and the Bucks don't have Khris Middleton, sure, they have Giannis, who I just said was the best player in the world after Kevin freaking Durant. But I don't think Giannis. Let me pause. I think Giannis can carry the Bucks, but I think if DeMar DeRozan keeps playing as he's playing, Alex Caruso keeps playing defense as he's playing, these role players still keep doing their thing, I think the Bucks are going to fall in 7. So without Khris Middleton, what does that mean for the Bucks? Well, I feel like Khris Middleton is more of a closer than Giannis. Like, if you want a game-winning shot, a shot, not a drive, a shot, I would give it to Khris Middleton. If you want a game-winning drive, I would give it to Giannis, because I still don't really trust Giannis shooting threes, Giannis shooting jumpers. He's probably the best. He's probably the second best Buck to ever play. And I think he's going to end up as a top 10 player for sure. With the route that he's going, 2 MVPs, an NBA Finals win. But I would still give the ball to Khris Middleton, sniper from the 3. But the Bucks are heading into Chicago, and they play Friday. I'm recording this on Friday, so I don't know the result. They play Friday in a big game because, man, that Chicago is going to be riled up, because Chicago is a great fan base. Okay, let's pause again. I hate the Bears. They're a devoted fan base, and they're going into the United Center, which is home to Michael Jordan. They're going to Jordan's house, and I think that it's going to be raving, and I think, honestly, the Bulls are going to win that series in 7. As long as Middleton's out, the Bucks aren't going to the finals like I thought. I have an updated finals, which I'll say after this. I'll say later on in the show what my updated finals is. But without Khris Middleton, I don't see the Bucks going to the finals. I don't see the Bucks even beating the Celtics or the Miami Heat in that case. I think the Sixers and Bucks without Khris Middleton would be a really great series that can possibly go to 7. Not sure about the Sixers winning that one, but as Khris Middleton's out, the Bucks are a red flag for me. Now, other than Khris Middleton, we saw another injury. Devin Booker, awful injury. He tweaked his hammy, and he is out for 2 to 3 weeks. As they play the Pelicans, I mean, That was in game 2 where Booker had 31 points in 25 minutes. Kevin Durant, take notes. Booker had 31 points in 25 minutes in that loss. That is more points than you have had against the Celtics, and he played like 15 more minutes less than you. 15. No, 22. 22 less minutes than you. Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a top 10 player, and that is going to be guaranteed after this series. The Suns are going to struggle a little against the Pelicans. They play today on Friday. I think the Pelicans have a very good chance of winning that one. I probably would take the Suns if I was betting on it, but I think the Pelicans have a very good chance of winning it just because the Suns have to adjust now. And this isn't the regular season. This is not losing CP3 in the regular season or Devin Booker in that case for a few games in the regular season. This is the playoffs. And I understand the Suns. You may not know what the playoffs are. You made one NBA Finals in like 6 years of not making the playoffs. 6 years of having a top 5 seed. This is the NBA playoffs. And I love Monty Williams. I think he's going to be a coach in the Phoenix for a while now. But they're going to struggle without Devin Booker. I think they're going to be able to adjust after this next game, but they're going to start out and they're going to struggle. I think Brandon Ingram comes out. Eric Bledsoe comes out. I'm trying to think, like, who else do they have that's really good? Valanciunas comes out. Zion, the Zion crap is crap. Like, that's crap. He's not coming back. I don't think Zion's coming back. He's just going to do dunks on the sideline, eat a bunch of sandwiches. The guy needs to lose weight next season, come back healthy, and I think he'll dominate. But that's not part of this conversation. The Pelicans are going to win games 3. Now, this could be this easily. When this comes out, you'll know if this is on track to be true or false. Pelicans win game 3. It's in New Orleans. Crowd's going to be wild. They take a 2-1 series. Suns win game 4, 5, and 6. What are they, 3? Suns win 4, 5, and 6. They win the series 4-2. Pelicans surely can win it. They could push it to game 7. I don't believe that. A lot of people believe it, and I truly am wondering why you believe it, because the Suns are the best team for a reason. But a lot of guys are going to have to step up. I mean, Booker scored 26.8 points this season. So guys are going to have to step up. Chris Paul's going to have to step up. DeAndre Ayton's going to have to step up. Cameron Payne's going to have to step up. Mikal Bridges on the defensive end. He's going to need some more offensive production, in my opinion. And Cam Johnson, who's improved tremendously, is going to have to step up. And then, once they move on, they'll be playing the Jazz or the Mavs. So, and if Booker's out for that series, they're screwed because the Mavs look great. Speaking of the Mavs Jazz series, if you follow me on Twitter, please do. Honestly, it's probably more funny than anything because I've been getting a lot into Twitter recently and have been just posting the randomest stuff ever. I mean, I'll watch a game, I'll like take a mental note, and I'll just start typing. It's pretty funny if you want to see some NBA tweets, Packers tweets, especially with this Deebo crap. I would follow me. I think it's Matt Kane 105. Same thing with my Instagram. Follow along to Twitter because I tweeted last night, and what I said was, let's see if I can pull it up. But pretty much, I was watching the game, the Mavs game, Mavs Jazz. I picked the Mavs to win because of that game. I know the series. I picked the Jazz, but okay. I said, I think if the Jazz lose the series, they need to blow it up. Fire Snyder, trade Gobert and/or Mitchell. They've had regular season success with playoff heartbreaks year after year after year. And also said no need to rush Luka Doncic anymore at the Mavs. So to expand on that, I think if Utah loses a series, which I think it's going very downhill, I think I honestly think the Mavs are I think Mavs win it in 6. I'll give the Jazz one more game. But, I mean, they're like the Green Bay Packers. And As a Packers fan, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, Jazz fans. My heart goes out to you guys. But they haven't made the conference finals during Quinn Snyder's tenure, which is not the Packers, but that's still an alarming. That's a red flag. They haven't made the conference finals, even though they were a 1 seed, they were a 4 seed, they were a 6 seed, they were another high seed. They've been in the playoffs and they've been great teams. Like Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. Donovan Mitchell, great player. They just haven't had playoff success, and I think without having playoff success, what's the point? What is the point of playing if you're not going for playoff success? You can have all the regular season championships that you want, but playoff success is really what matters. It matters in any sport. So I think Utah, if I'm their GM, I'm watching closely. I'm watching closely for the market on Gobert. I know, huge contract. Mitchell, they just extended him. I'd look at the market, see what you can get for those guys, potentially trade them. I think you should trade at least one and see what you could get. I think you need more pieces, but Quinn Snyder, it's time to go. Pack your bags. He already looks homeless, so pack your bags and get out of Utah. I just don't think he's a great coach. Just don't think the fit is right. I don't think he's going to coach them to a finals anytime soon. And yeah, I mean, Utah is not a free agent market. You know, free agents won't go to Utah. But I mean, you're getting played by Spencer Dinwiddie and the Mavs, dude. Jalen Brunson and the Mavs. The Mavs are playing really well without their star. That's a red flag. So Jazz, blow the crap out of that. I mean, seriously. Quinn Snyder, if you want to go take that death job in LA, go ahead. Go ahead. You're not going to listen. They'll be going to the playoffs. They won't be having playoff success, even if he's in LA. I don't think so. I think, LA has a bunch of problems. It's a death job. Nobody's going to want that. I'm sick of hearing this, a bunch of rumors of guys, Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, please go to LA. Doc Rivers, Quinn Snyder, Coach K, Jay Wright. Like, chill. Nobody wants that LA job. I'm interested to see who they're going to sign. It's definitely going to be something that LeBron likes because LeBron is the GM. NBA Finals prediction. I told you I would give you a new prediction. Might as well. A team that I really like are the Golden State Warriors. Tweeted about them also. I'll probably post that on Instagram, but I said Warriors impress me more every game. They're the team I want to watch in the finals. All for the pool party. All for the pool party. You guys are invited to that pool party because I think the Warriors are going to be in the finals, and I think they're winning it all. Give me Warriors Celtics in 6. I think Warriors beat the Celtics in 6, which is really great for Nate Griffith because he's got he's a Warriors fan. He used to be a Celtics fan. But yeah, no, that would be a great matchup. My ideal matchup is Warriors 76ers. Sixers fan, love watching the Warriors. I mean, who wouldn't? Jordan Poole is playing tremendous. So that's my ideal matchup, or the Mavs. Mavs or Warriors versus Sixers. The most interesting matchup, I think, would be either Warriors Celtics or Warriors Heat. Only reason why I got the Heat in there is because Spoelstra and Kerr are the best coaches in the NBA. So I think that would be a really great, best coaches in the playoffs. That'd be a really great, mindset game to watch. But the Warriors are my NBA champions now. I think the Suns are going to skip a beat. They're going to get a little sloppy. And I think when Booker comes back, I still have them going to the conference finals. And if Booker's out next round, I got the Mavs. But if Booker's playing next round, I think the Suns will make it to the conference finals. And the Warriors are just going to death line up the crap out of them. I mean, who doesn't love that death lineup? Poole, Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Green. It's a great lineup. And shout out to Steph Curry because a lot of stars won't come off the bench, but Steph will. Shout out. Love that guy. All right, let's transition into some football. The schedule is coming out. Two Thursdays, I think. 3 Thursdays. May 12th, I believe, somewhere around there. NFL draft Thursday. Gonna try to get a show out in the middle of that week, next week. But yeah, NFL news recently, Deebo Samuel wants out now. I mean, I said this in the beginning of the show. We went in an offseason where Aaron Rodgers was, let's be real, the majority of NFL fans thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be out. They get a curveball. Rodgers stays, takes a huge contract. It's a huge contract, but still, there's a lot of different kinks that people don't understand. And I'm not going to get into that because that will be an hour show. But Russell Wilson's traded to the Broncos. Carson Wentz is traded to the Commanders. Colts get Matt Ryan. Mariota is a starting quarterback. Baker Mayfield is having the biggest drama with the Browns. Browns acquired Deshaun Watson. Baker wants out. Trashes the Browns on his podcast, or on a podcast. Linked to the Steelers if he gets linked to a division rival if he gets cut, who also signed Mitch Trubisky, by the way. And now we're heading into some Deebo Samuel stuff. I mean, you thought the 49ers were having it with Jimmy Garoppolo? No, it's Deebo now. Nobody cares about Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo probably won't be starting quarterback next year unless he takes the job from Lance. I mean, Mariota and Drew Lock are starting quarterbacks right now. I understand the Seahawks are probably going to draft a quarterback, in my opinion, or trade for Baker. Those guys are starting. Same with Mitch Trubisky. Those guys are starting, and Baker and Jimmy are backups now. I mean, what is life? But Deebo Samuel wants out from the 49ers. He saw Devontae Adams get a huge deal, traded to the Raiders, 28 mil per year. He saw Tyreek Hill get traded. Signed a deal, 30 per year. So Tyreek Hill is making the most money per year by a receiver, 30 mil. And Deebo Samuel wants a new contract. But he doesn't want it from the 49ers. He came out. The 49ers haven't offered Deebo Samuel a contract. But Deebo said, no, do not make the contract. I don't want to hear it. I want out. So Deebo, that news came out Wednesday. Immediately went to Twitter because he's just been linked so much to the Packers. Immediately went to Twitter. Don't want that. I do not want Deebo Samuel. Great season last year. He's an all-pro. 14,000 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, 365 rushing yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns. The 49ers were using him as that running back wide receiver role, which I personally think is the reason why he wants out. He's sick of being a running back and a wide receiver. You know, running backs easily get hurt. Receivers can easily get hurt. And he's on a rookie deal. So I think that's why he wants to be out. And ESPN reported that the Jets, Lions, and Packers are frontrunners. I don't want that. I don't want Deebo Samuel on the Packers. Because here's what's going to happen. Whatever team trades for him is going to have to give up a first-round pick. I know that for sure. I'm pretty positive that's going to happen. I don't want the Packers to do that. Because Deebo Samuel hasn't played a full season in his career. 2021 played 16 out of 17 games. 2020, 7 out of 16 games. 2019, 15 out of 16 games. Close with 2020, 2019, and 2021. But still, I don't want Deebo Samuel because he's going to get traded for a first-round pick. He's going to get signed around Tyreek Hill, I'm guessing, because I think that's really what he wants at the end of the day. And he's just going to tweak a hammy next year, sit out for half the year, and they're going to be paying him a ton of money. You know, let the Jets and Lions have him. That's my gift to you. The Lions haven't had playoff success in forever. Jets haven't had playoff success in 11 years, 12 years back with Mark Sanchez. My gift to you is Deebo Samuel. It's ridiculous. Deebo Samuel is going to get paid a crap load of money. And he's probably going to play like 10 games, 12 games. 12 games. He's probably going to play 14 games at most, 12 games on average, 8 games the least. And like, he's going to get traded to a team, Jets. Jets have a ton of connections with the 49ers. Packers have a connection with the 49ers with LaFleur. He's going to get traded to those teams, and guess what these teams are going to do? They're going to try to put him as a running back. Now, the only team I don't think would do that is probably the Packers because they have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Lions, maybe because they have Jamal and DeAndre. But I think the Jets would easily just try to use him as a running back too because the Jets don't have that starting running back. They have Michael Carter, who had a really great end of the season, but I don't think they're going to hesitate to try to use Deebo as a running back. Not even sure the Lions will either. Like, after the 49ers open that up for Deebo, that's going to be forever with him. He's going to be used as a running back and a wide receiver, I think, for the rest of his career, or at least until he has a severe injury. It's something he doesn't want, but you're not going to run away from that. Listen, Deebo Samuel is a good player, but I'm not paying him close to $30 million. No. And I understand that's how the markets work, but if I was the Packers GM, I would honestly only trade him if he wants to take, I don't know, not that big of a deal. I mean, Cooper Kupp won't take that big of a deal, Deebo, so just relax. If you want to look at the betting odds, really doesn't matter after see his report, but the 49ers to keep him as the highest, Jets, Colts, Packers, Falcons, Saints, Titans, Eagles, Commanders. My prediction, I think he's going to listen. The draft is next week. Don't think they're going to be able to trade him by next week. And I don't think they're going to trade him afterwards if it's after the draft. Deebo is just going to have to suck it up. I mean, I don't know why he wants to leave. That's his best position. That's the team where he's going to flourish the most. Why would you want to go to the Jets, dude? I don't know. When this report came out, I immediately thought the team that I would pick him to play is the Patriots. Patriots need a wide receiver. And, Belichick can make this move after having a really quiet offseason. And they potentially can be going back to the playoffs in a stacked AFC. I mean, Tyreek Hill is in the AFC East. I think Deebo has to go to the AFC East if the Jets or the Patriots want to compete. He goes to the Jets. Still don't think they're going to compete. Goes to the Patriots. I think they possibly can compete. But like I said before, Deebo is going to tweak a hamstring, be out half the year. That's the truth to it. I don't hate the Colts either. I saw that when I posted it. Some people were saying the Colts. I don't hate that. Matt Ryan is going to need a good receiver outside of Michael Pittman. And the Colts don't have receivers. But the only thing about the Colts, they don't have the capital to trade for it. They don't have a first-round pick. Gave that to the Eagles. So I can't see the Colts really getting Deebo just because of that. But, hey, I'm interested to see where he goes. It's hilarious to see the Cowboys junk because they just traded Cooper. But like I say, anything's possible in the NFL, especially after this offseason. All right. Rounding out the NFL news and the show, Kyler Murray is also in the reports about potentially being traded. That was debunked by GM of the Cardinals, Steve. I want to say it's Steve Zaire. Could be wrong. But he debunked that. He said, no way in heck we're trading Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray came out and said, he wants to win a Super Bowl with the Cardinals. I think that's just a contract dispute, and I think it would be solved by the first game of the NFL. Kyler's looking to get paid. He saw Baker get hurt this year on a rookie deal, and look what it's doing to the Browns. I mean, Baker could have made so much money. He probably made a crap ton of money. Crap's just the word of the day. Probably made a crap ton of money with those progressive commercials, those awful progressive commercials. But he's getting blindsided by the Browns, like he said he was. And Kyler doesn't want that. I mean, I don't blame Kyler for trying to get a new contract. I really don't. But hey, Kyler, it's your battle. I'm interested to see if they give you one. Because guess who also needs a new contract? Lamar Jackson. 2 new QB contracts coming soon. Kyler Murray also, I'll say this. There's a lot of different reports. Larry Fitzgerald came out and kind of not bashed him, but said his leadership was a little off. Same thing with AJ Green, what he did. But Christian Kirk came on and debunked that too. A lot of different reports about Kyler Murray and his leadership. Colin Cowherd was saying how he's so similar to Aaron Rodgers. And as a Packers fan, I think that's so true because Aaron Rodgers is kind of like, I'm not going to say he's egotistical because he really isn't, but people think he is because of the media. But it's harder to please Aaron Rodgers than it is for Tom Brady. And it's the truth. Love Aaron Rodgers, but it's hard to please the guy. And I think Kyler is kind of that Aaron Rodgers, I'm floating on my own pace. And he has been since the baseball and football decision making in college. So don't think Kyler Murray will be traded. Nobody really does at this point since it was debunked by the GM and Kyler said he wants to play. So they're in a good position in the NFC because the NFC is so weak. But that's going to be all for Kyler Murray news, and that's going to be all for today's show. We covered a lot. We covered the Nets, covered the Khris Middleton, Devin Booker injuries, the Jazz, the Little Warriors, and then Deebo Samuel and Kyler Murray. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. NFL draft coming soon. Well, I'm not going to make a mock draft, but I'll probably have a top 10 board. A top 10 board coming up. But yeah, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter, Matty Kane 105. On Instagram, Matty Kane 105. And of course, follow us on Instagram.